Hello, my name is Chun Yu, and I'm going to introduce how to win competitors in a COVID-19 pandemic and changes to how the 24-hour cafe will operate have come from the Center for Disease Control using the considerations they have to minimize exposure. Knowing that COVID-19 is spread swiftly when people are physically near a person with COVID-19 or directly contact that person. Personally, prevention practices will be enforced, such as hand washing, stay home when sick, and wearing masks and workplace prevention practice like environmental clean and disinfection are required. Physical barriers such as sneeze guards and penetration registers while dealing with customers protect both cashiers and the guests of the cafe when they cannot remain at least 6 feet apart. Tape on the floor will provide guide marking to maintain distance consistent with the law. This business will communicate prevention steps taken and any changes included with signage in prominent locations. It's essential to reduce the number of people sit together by changing the layout, placing seats 6 feet apart, removing bar stools and tables not in use. Limiting seating capacity can include offering drive-through as customers to wait in their cars and avoiding self-serve options. The use of masks will be required among all staff and customers, with employee avoiding touching their face once the mask is on. Proper hand hygiene is a requirement from employees and strong encouragement among pantries with soap and water for a minimum of 20 seconds. Gloves will be worn by all employees when they are handling food, disposing of trash, cleaning when it comes to food preparation and cleanliness. The cafe will provide personal protection equipment, such as face masks, hairnets, disposable gloves, clean overalls, and sleep reduction work shoes for staff. We believe that this will create a competitive advantage, and this will help guests feel more comfortable while in public space and protect from other guests and employers. Having strict safety guidelines will also make competitors believe they need to emulate our product tools. As customers' needs increase more due to limited seating space, we must provide all guests and employees with a safe environment, so our creative idea will be advantageous. Social distancing is working, and many believe it have a place in this industry for a long distance and time. The next is the added value. We are talking about, we are come out with mobile sidewalk cards like current time a 24-hour cafe is an essential business for many people who must report to work every day, including overnight shifts from healthcare provider. And the idea of this group creates this card, which is a small version of our 24-hour cafe, starting with 60 by times 24 times 60 coach rented at $400 each month. We will bring coffee, printed pastries, snacks, and cold drinks, fruits, and additional minimal items to customers outside. The car placements will be corner closet to the establishment, so customers have it in their line of sight before they enter the cafe. Doing so will help minimize the number of occupancy. And when a customer wants to stop by a cafe before the shift starts quickly, they hope for the shortest line possible, which is often never the outcome. Service can become back up in an instant during a pandemic. This is engaging every occupant's lives. The sidewalk car's goal is to cut the lines down by 30% to save customers time when they only want a cafe or private coffee. Thus minimizing wait times for many patrons as a cafe seating indoors will be extremely limited. So the addition of a cafe card also increases the empty tables. Patrons have the opportunity to keep walking to their destination, finding another location to enjoy their delicacies, and so on. This idea is not new. Um, Eateries worldwide have pushed forward with the use of sidewalk stands, food trucks, coffee carts to combat the adverse effects the COVID-19 has caused, such as in Poland, the food car industry has corrected. Added value from the mobile sidewalk cart comes in various forms, ranging from increase the customer to a decrease in waiting times. Due to the simplicity of the mobile cart's menu, the average number of attractions should have a project increase of 8%, leading to increased profile. The mobile cart can also move to any street that our permit will allow for a second location, which increases publicity, new customers, and potential sales. We accept the mobile cart to increase profits from coffee sales, pastries, and snacks items, such as fruit, drinks, chips, cookies, and other packaged items. Having a mobile cart offers flexibility and simplicity for people on the go, providing value to our clientele. Therefore, creating a food cart will help the coffee keep doing what they have always done: serve delicious food, create happy customers, and get creative in a pinch. This card is an idea that we created to help creative generate revenue. It can be incorporated into the business permanently. When developing a budget and plan for the sidewalk cart, we look at the potential of making this a permanent fixture with the pros and cons often associated with an addition of this magnitude. The results were very positive and showed great promise during 5 years, with revenue increasing by 8% every year. And without why? Customers love convenience and simplicity, and this card offers that all year. But most of all, they want to enjoy the food they love safely. Food carts, trucks, and stands made possible with outdoor environment and added need of no seating. And we also decided to cut expenses to reduce the cost, because with decreased cash flows, we do this would be to minimize the number of employees on shift daily due to the decrease in capacity using the service profits chain. Employees will continue to work as efficiently given the circumstances and will be less likely to leave. Second, conserve more food by focusing on lean management and only preparing items as they are needed rather than in large quantities. Getting the most out of every item you purchase is especially important now. Water conservation is an efficient way to save the daily water consumption by guests and employees when using the restrooms. Practicing properly hand washing, wash dishes, and prepare food also. Due to the minimalized use of space during COVID-19, certain supplies may be on back order, or supplies are not helpful during restrictions. Supplies are often single-use, which will help with the spread of COVID-19. However, the cost will increase due to demand. Costs may be cut in the utility category because fewer facilities are needed when operating at a lower capacity. In the end, keep a budget sheet and analyze costs even more closely than before to see what we need to focus on or what to focus less on. And according to the textbook, the 3 ratios must appropriate for cutting expenses would be profitability ratio, leverage ratio, and activity ratio. The first one, the profitability ratio measures overall success. It's really useful in forecasting and observing trends and strategies, and would help monitor the outcome of our expense cuts and whether we need to make an extreme or minor changes. The leverage ratio is a measurement of financial risk and whether or not a company can meet its financial obligations. This ratio will help determine if our cafe is reaching our appropriate goals, and if not, what we can do differently. Activity ratio determines how well a company is leveraging its assets on the balance sheet. This is useful in seeing the little details that can determine changes. Using net profit margin, we measure the efficiency after all expenses are considered, showing all revenues that represents total sales in a period. This formula will help evaluate any expenses that may be costly or ineffective, allowing the cafe to cut down unnecessary costs. The net profit ratio is an indicator of a company's overall success. However, it doesn't show profits from cash flow and difference between the different industries. Another ratio that can determine how to cut costs is accounts receivable turnover, which divides annually credit sales by receivable, measuring the effectiveness of collection and credit policies. It will measure the cafe's revenue and its efficiency, which can show items that can be taken away to save on costs. Not knowing how efficiently the cafe uses its assets can determine how to increase revenue in areas and decrease dependencies from assets that are not useful. And last point, this you see the pictures below. Here is a data research. This data shows the revenue from games to all other sources, including hotels, entertainment, retail, restaurants, and finance. The category industry is an integral part of entertainment industry. In the 1990s, gambling was the norm of the United States, and the competition from Las Vegas and other cities was getting fierce. As a result, other entertainment industries, such as hotels and restaurants, have been bound to meet people's holiday needs. In order to meet the demand, Las Vegas has to incorporate a variety of cultures to attract visitors from all the world. As shown in the graph, the category industry's profit increased steadily and gradually until 2007, when its growth rate accelerated. Visitors to Las Vegas have spent 10% more on food and drink this year than they did in the 1990s. According to other surveys, Las Vegas is visited most to gamble and dine at Michelin restaurants, which has helped boost the restaurant industry's profits. And according to a UNLV Center for Gaming Research study, these are the annual food and beverage revenues accumulated by properties in a certain gaming areas. The Strip has earned the most over the past 10 years due to the high population of tourist guests that visit Las Vegas. Over the past few years, the Strip has been a decline in gaming activities and seen a rise in other activities such as entertainment and food and beverage. The downtown Las Vegas screen has seen more of a rise in room revenue than anything, but has steadily increased in other areas, such as food and beverage. Finally, the Strip has maintained consistent numbers because gaming has not declined as much as the other areas of this state, mainly because the Strip serves more local guests than the downtown areas.